guys, and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Kaylamareezy, and I don't care what you're doing. Stop right now. Stop right now. If you're listening to me, like literally you're watching this video, so I know you're listening to me. Right underneath this video, like literally right underneath this video, there's a button and it says subscribe. Go ahead and click that for me, babe, okay? Because you don't support if you don't subscribe. Like, obviously, like, I ain't got no subscribers. I know I don't post a lot of videos, but damn, just help me out. Subscribe. Thank you for that subscription. And we're gonna go ahead and get into the topic. As you can see, the story is gonna be about how a guy peed in my bed. I'll leave that up for you to decide. I feel like I'm 99.99999% sure that he peed in my bed, but you're just gonna have to listen to the story, baby. Just listen. I'm also gonna be doing my makeup in this video as well. Of course, I'm gonna leave the products down below in the description bar. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Kaylamareezy. Also, again, subscribe here, Kaylamareezy, excuse me. And don't forget to also follow me on Snapchat. Does anybody care about Snapchat? Alrighty, so I guess we'll just go ahead and get started. Just for the respect and protection of the others and their families as well, and I'll mention to you why I'm saying that. I'm going to be using like alias names. So the names that I'm mentioning in this video is not their actual names. And again, later on in the video, you'll understand why. But yeah, let's get into the story. So this dates back to, I'm pretty sure this happened in around this was a long time ago. So back in 2017, actually it was on St. Patrick's Day, me and my friends decided we wanted to go out, so we were going to go to a club called Boo Radley, which is downtown Mobile, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So we were down there, we went into the club, and we had only been there for like 10 minutes, and this guy in a dark hoodie, he was a little bit taller than me, but he was probably shorter than 6 feet, whatever, came up to me and he was like, "What's up, baby? What's your name, shorty?" and all this blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, damn, I can't even see your face. Like, creepy. He told me his name was Peter, and so I was just like, okay, cool, you know, where are you from? He was from New Orleans, I was from Mobile. He's down here for college. I'm in college at that time, so we exchanged numbers, and that was it. He left the club. Like, it was really quick, I guess, which that's cool and all, because some of you guys are cock blockers. You guys will literally come up to a girl, get her number, start chatting with her, and then following her the entire night. Like, why? I need some other cocks to get, okay? I need another number or something. Like, shoo, buy me a drink and go. Like, just get me a drink and go. Over the next couple weeks, me and Peter started hanging out. Like, hanging out. Like, he'd pull up on my campus, I'd pull up on his campus. You know, we'd just stay the night, watch movies, like just in the typical talking stage. But we never got to the point where we actually dated. I think it was more so that I kind of wanted a little bit more, because guys get comfortable, you know? It was like we were just chilling, watching movies, and just vibing. And it was just like, let's go on a date. Let's do other stuff, you know? And I mean, yeah, it's only been a couple months, but when you do the same thing over and over again for a couple months, you get bored, you know? Like, do a magic trick or something. Like, do something that's gonna like reel me in a little bit more and want to stick around. Now, me and Peter, we continued to hang out whenever we would have little kickbacks, little parties and stuff. He was like the go-to person to hit up first, mainly because he was out of town. He always was looking for a move. And then we're all college students, so who's not looking for a next turn up, you feel me? And I hope it was okay that I did my brows off camera. It's just kind of hard to focus in on that. I wouldn't be talking if I was doing that right now. But anywho, one night Peter hit me up and was like, hey, let's have a kickover or a kickback over your place. And I was just like, okay, cool. Like, you know, it was normal. Like, we just had a normal kickback. And this time he wanted to bring other homeboys. Like, some of them were in college, but there was two, I think, that weren't in college. They were like grown. And I was just like, I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, bring them over. So when they finally make it to my house, in walks this really tall, he's probably like 6'3", guys, like no exaggeration. This guy, he was nice looking. His name was Richard. Now, Richard, he was really funny. Like, he was a comedian, and like, I love to laugh, guys. Like, I will laugh all day long, like, if I could. But he was really funny. He was telling jokes. And I mean, everybody was so cool. We all ended up exchanging like Instagrams and Snapchats and social medias and stuff. And like, as they continued to like hang out with us and stuff, everybody just began to be cool. Like, everybody was completely cool, which was fine with me because I'm all about that peace shit, you know what I mean? And plus, I feel like I have more guy friends than girlfriends anyways. So I didn't care. I was just like, okay, cool. Within like a couple of months though, we just kind of stopped doing our own little thing. We weren't really hanging out anymore. The summertime was approaching, so it was just like, oh well, you know how you just get in those phases where you'll talk to a guy, you'll talk to him for a couple weeks, couple months, maybe even a couple days, and then you don't speak to him anymore, and it's just like, okay, whatever, next. It was kind of like that. But a couple months had passed, and he hit me up out of the blue and was just like, hey, my lease is finna be up at the apartment I'm staying at now. My other lease doesn't start until like a month from now. I can't move into like a month from now. So do you mind if I just keep a couple belongings at your house? Like, kind of like a storage. And I was just like, okay, cool. Like, I mean, I know how hard it is. So shit, bring your stuff over. That's A-okay. So he completely like moves some of his stuff in. And when he gets to my house, he was like, well, by the way, they want me to move out quicker. However, I'm going to get ready to deploy because he was in the military. And he's just like, can I just move the remainder of my stuff in your apartment? Which I had the space for it, guys. I stayed by myself, so I had the space for it. And he'll be deployed. So it was almost like he wouldn't even be there. So I agreed. I think he stayed with me for like a couple days. And then he ended up having to leave to deploy and, you know, do his duties or whatever. I think it was like drill or something. I don't remember, but whatever. So when he returns back from doing his drills, like his duties or whatever, he came back and was just like, good news. They're ready for me to go ahead and move in. So he moved the majority of his stuff over to the other apartment, but he didn't move like all of it, which it was just kind of like a never got around to it, but it was kind of like out the way for me. So I was just like, okay, like whatever, like it's not like it's taking up space here. So just hit me up whenever you're ready to get the rest of your stuff and move in. Like that, right? And this is probably around July, like the end of July going into August, because a new semester is about to start, and you know. So my brother hits me up and was just like, hey, I'm gonna have to crash with you for a couple months. Do you mind? And I was just like, come on in. And when he actually moved in, I realized that, damn, Peter's stuff is still here. So let me just kind of hit up Peter. And by this time, it was like mid-October. But of course, I never got around to like hit him up because I think it was like October the 28th-ish, something right around in there. He hit me up and was just like, hey, how are you doing? I texted him back and I was just like, I'm doing cool. And by the way, you left a few things here. Do you mind coming and getting them? Because my brother is living with me and we just need the extra space. And so he was just like, okay, that's cool. I'll get one of my friends to come pick it up if I'm not able to pick it up. And at that time, I didn't think of anything. I was just like, all right, cool. And he just was asking me how I'd been, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, you know, I'm doing well. And I think at that time I had like a sinus infection. So I was just like, you know, just getting over this sinus infection. And he told me he was sick too. And I was just like, You know, just didn't think nothing of it. I was like, well, it's that time of the year, starting to get cold, the seasons are changing, you know, get well soon. So a couple days go by and like Peter never hit me back up to like come get his belongings. And I'm thinking to myself like, when is he gonna come get his belongings? So I kid you not, like the next morning, I get a Snapchat and it's from Richard again. Richard. So I'm thinking to myself, what does Richard want? Like, why is he hitting me up on Snapchat talking about some good morning and how are you? And I'm just like, I'm good. How are you doing? Like, what's up? He was like, yeah, Peter died this morning. And I was just thinking to myself, what? Like, I was shook. I just talked to Peter literally like 2 days ago, and you're hitting me up on Snapchat telling me that he died? Y'all, I lost my shit. So guys, I was shooketh because not only had I never talked to someone that passed away, but his belongings were still in my house. And I don't know about y'all, but I watched too many ghost stories. Like, I was like, get his spirit out of here. Like, I'm spinning everywhere. If you don't come get this stuff right now, I'm just gonna have to move out. I'm gonna break my lease. Like, I didn't even get out of my bed until Richard came to my house because I was just that scared, guys. Like, my stomach and my heart had traded places. Like, I lost it. Richard, he came over to my apartment and got Peter's stuff, and he came back, you know, telling me that Peter was sick and he, you know, didn't want to go to the doctor and some other stuff. Like, there were more details, but again, I'm keeping their names anonymous just because of the respect of their family. I am putting this on the internet, so I don't know where this may land. And Richard, if you're watching this, I don't know, like, because this story is about you. So me and Richard continued to like, and don't mind me, I'm just putting this foundation on because it doesn't have a pump. So this is how I do it. So me and Richard were still in contact because he was just like, hey, here's the funeral arrangements. Hey, here's the memorial service. Kind of like, you know, keep me in the loop of things that was going on. He also threw like this party get together at his apartment, which was relatively close to mine's. But anywho, he threw a party and it was awkward. Like, it was the most awkward shit ever. Like, we could only bring like a certain number of people. When we got there wasn't a lot of loud music playing. They were playing the video game on mute. I don't know, it just was kind of like a silence party, I guess. I just thought it was kind of weird, like, but you know, whatever. I did end up going to the funeral. He had 2 funerals, actually. I went to both. And they were both in New Orleans because his parents were, you know, not together or whatever. None of that is our business, but he had 2 funerals. I did go to both of them. And again, me and Richard, you know, still stayed in contact, you know, whenever there was kickback. And it wasn't just me and Richard. It was me, Richard, his friends, my friends, you know, whatever. Like, we all were still in contact. I don't think y'all, I don't want y'all thinking that I'm coming for Peter's homeboy now that Peter's, you know, no longer with us. Like, we ain't on them type of times. But Richard, I noticed that Richard was like trying to get close to me, I guess, be like a close friend, but he started doing things like in a way as if he was my boyfriend. Like, he was really cool. Like, we'd come over, we'd watch movies, you know, everybody was, you know, cool when we were at the kickbacks and stuff like that. He would offer to like bring me snacks and stuff. And at first I thought like maybe he's thinking that I'm grieving, but I was kind of like, I accepted it. You know, me and Peter, we only dated for, or was talking for a couple months. So I was just like, you know, I wasn't heartbroken. I was just more so like, dang, like I really lost a guy who was really, really good to me. He was nice. I liked him. So one day, Richard finally like told me like, hey, I like you. I'm feeling you, you know, maybe we can, you know, try to work things out. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, what? Like, it hadn't even been years since, it's only been like a month or so since Peter, you know, passed away. So why are you coming at me like this? So my response, I didn't want to be rude and be like, well, how dare you try to talk to me and you and Peter were friends. So I just was like, well, Richard, you know, I never really gave him an answer. Like, I never really gave him an answer. I just kind of just like, shrugged it off and just like, oh, well, we can just continue to kick it and, you know, we can continue to be friends. But, you know, he wasn't getting the hint. And I mean, just for the disclosure, me and Richard never became sexually active, nothing. Like, we were not intimate, nothing of that nature. We just kept it strictly like PG-13, I guess, or PG-14. Like, he was 28 also, which age is nothing but a number if you're older than me. But yeah, I just was like, let's just be friends, you know? I didn't tell him this, but I just kept it in that bracket because I have a hard time, you know, checking people. Well, one day it was me, Richard, and we're gonna call his friend Quentin. And the only reason and I hope that's not his real name, but anyways, we'll keep it short for Quentin. And I'm sorry that there's so many names going on, so let's just kind of scroll back. So Peter is the guy that I used to talk to. Richard is Peter's friend, and Quentin and Peter actually went to the same college because remember, Richard's 28 and he's older and he's not a college student, okay? And thinking about it now, if Richard was not a college student, why did he stay in college apartments? Like literally today, like 2020, like right now, I'm thinking about why did he stay in college apartments if he was 28 at that time? But I wasn't thinking, whatever. Like, anywho, guys, so we're over Richard's apartment, which remember, he's in these student apartments, and we're just kicking it. All three of us were kicking it. I was doing some schoolwork on the couch. Like, they were, I don't know, in the kitchen because Richard is a chef. So he was like whipping up something in the kitchen. And all of a sudden, there were like these really hard knocks at the door. Like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, is that the police at the door? So Richard tells me like, hey, go run in the back and sit in the room back there. And this was a 4-bedroom apartment. Like, it had 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms. Like, you know how student living is. Everybody has their own room. Everybody has their own bathroom. We only share the common things like kitchen, living room, utility room. So I go into like one of the rooms, which before this, I had never been in any of the bedrooms in there because there's like a bathroom in the living room. So when I came in there, my first train of thought was like, where's all of your shit? Like, where are your clothes? Where are your shoes? Where is all of your stuff? Like, but I wasn't worried about that. I was like, I just have to sit here, lay low because there's some people at the door and it sounds like it's the police. And we was in there rolling up, okay? So when the front door opened, all I heard was like Quentin talking to someone. I couldn't hear who they were, but I could hear like radios and dispatcher over 112. And I'm just thinking to myself, damn, the police are in there and what is going on? Maybe they're looking for Quentin. Maybe he's like on the run or something. I don't know. But in the midst of me hearing them talking, I'm hearing like some footsteps coming down the hallway. And it's like creeping, like tiptoeing down the hallway. And I'm like, bro, is there somebody like creeping towards me? And they were like coming my way. I was thinking to myself, oh shit, like I don't know what to do. I guess I'll just sit here and act like I'm doing my schoolwork. When the door opened, it was like a lady from the leasing office, and she was like, hey, nobody's supposed to be here. None of y'all's names is on this lease, and because this is a vacant apartment, and we need to round everybody up in the front. I get to the front because I'm still confused, and when I'm up in the front, everybody's lined up. The police is like asking Richard all these questions. Quentin looks scared out of his mind, and I'm just over here like confused, like, what's going on? Richard. So the police comes in and is talking about breaking and entering, burglary, splitting the utility bills 3 ways because the power's been ran up here, and basically, in a nutshell, Richard doesn't even live here, guys. Like, he doesn't live here. And again, it clicked because it was just like, bruh, how are you 28 years old, magically up and lived in this student living apartment? Because I don't think he was even living there when we all first linked up or met or something. I vividly remember something about taking him to his grandma's house or something. I don't know. But like, what's going on? Because I'm just thinking to myself, damn, I need to look at my phone, try to remember some numbers, because they're about to arrest us for like breaking and entering or some shit. Like, I don't know what's going on. So Richard steps outside and talks to the police. When he comes back in, he just comes up to me and is just like, hey, just get all of your stuff. I'll explain everything later. Just go home. I'm thinking to myself, you don't have to explain anything to me. Like, I already know. Like, I'm finna get my stuff and I'm finna get ghost. Like, if you're letting me go and y'all are letting me go home, like, I don't want to ever see you ever again in my life. Like, because I literally just was like, what just happened? You know, like, what just happened? So I gather all of my school books and I just start to head home. Like, I'm noticing that Quentin and Richard, they're in this Mustang, and it just zooms right past me. And it looks like they're going to my house, like my apartment complex. And I'm thinking to myself, I know they are not on their way to my apartment complex. Y'all, tell me why they pull up in my apartment complex. At this point, like, I am completely infuriated. I'm just thinking to myself, y'all can't stay here. Like, I'm sorry if y'all got busted. I don't know if Quentin was staying with Richard, but y'all can't stay here. Like, it's a wrap. And that's what I'm thinking in my mind. Richard gets out the car, comes to me like, hey, do you mind if we come up and grab a drink? Just kind of talk about what happened, this, that, and the third. And I'm just thinking in my mind, all right, but shit, after y'all talk about this, get yourselves together. Y'all get y'all stuff and just leave. Like, I don't know. I put that behind me. But all I know is I was about to go to jail. So what is there that we have to talk about? So we get upstairs and Richard is in my kitchen going through my refrigerator and just starts whipping up a meal. And I'm thinking to myself, one thing that I'm not gonna stand for is nobody's gonna just come and make themselves this damn comfortable, come into my kitchen, making food, cooking shit like you finna just move in. Like, no, you don't pay the power bill, the rent, you don't, like, we're not even on that type of level. Me and Peter was not even on that type of level. And the only reason I allowed him to stay over because he just kind of needed some help. His family is way in New Orleans. He's not even finna stay here. Like, he stayed here for like 3 days. Like, what's really going on, you know? Y'all, come to find out, Richard had some friends who stayed in the leasing office who literally helped him get these set of keys and just gave him an apartment. Like, it was like some under the table type of thing. So that made sense to me because it was like, that's why when we were at Peter's, you know, going away, memorial RIP party or whatever, everything was so discreet and quiet. Like, that's why we couldn't be loud. That's why we couldn't invite a lot of people. Like, he didn't want all the eyes to come on them, like all the attention to come on them. And then it never clicked to me at that time. Well, it clicked, but I was just like, whatever, because I also stayed in like a student living apartment like that before. So you guys are probably thinking, well, he had a 4-bedroom and it was only him by himself. Why didn't you notice, blah, blah. It's because, like, let's say there's 5 best friends. If there's only a 4-bedroom available, they'll take the 5th person and move them with 3 other random people, or they'll just stay in an apartment by themselves. Like, it'll roll over. Like, everybody couldn't fit. So I thought that maybe you know, they didn't find 3 new roommates. I don't know. That's just what I was thinking. But yeah, come to find out, he had an under the table person working at the lease office who was helping him stay in these apartments, and he was just keeping a low profile. And I was just like blowed, like, okay, now what are you guys gonna do? Like, now where are you guys gonna go? So for some reason, I can't exactly remember what happened, but Richard did end up having to stay the night with me. I think it was because like maybe Quentin stayed on campus or something and didn't have the room. Like, I think he stayed in the dorm, and then on top of that, Richard didn't have a vehicle. And so it was just gonna make it so complex on trying to like get him to his grandma's house. I was already pissed. So there was no way, you know, you could possibly stay with me, you know, or us even be together. Like, think about Peter, okay? Think about him. So it just wouldn't work out. But I agreed and let him, you know, stay the night, whatever. And just get your mind right, but get your stuff out by the morning, okay? So the next morning comes, and literally I did allow Richard to like stay and you know, crash in my bed, whatever, because I had this big king size bed, and it was a California king size at that, whether you believe it or not, I had one. And you know, he kind of just stayed on his side, I stayed on my side. Well, when I woke up in the morning, I woke up to him kind of like nudging me out of the bed. Like, I almost literally fell out of the bed, which pissed me off because this is a king size bed. Why you all up on my side, nigga? Like, why are you all up on my side? I wake up and I'm like, Richard, you're pushing me out of the bed. And I remember he was just so sweaty and just so, I was just like, bro, I'm over this. I'm completely over this shit. Like, let me just go ahead and get up anyways, because I have to go to work. So I'm just gonna get up. And he got up too, but when he got up, I noticed that he was kind of slithering out of the bed and went straight into the bathroom. And I'm thinking to myself, what an awkward way to get out of the bed. Like, who like kind of slides themselves to the side out of the bed? But it was like he was trying to keep the bed made up, but he was trying to get out of the bed while keeping the bed made up, which was stupid, but whatever. So I'm on the floor doing my makeup, and I noticed that I'm looking in this mirror and there's a reflection behind me. He's coming out of the bathroom like fully dressed. He made up the bed and like laid flat out in the middle of the bed, like laid out in the middle of the bed. And I'm just thinking to myself, what the hell is going on here? On top of that, like my shorts on the side, it was kind of wet. And I was just like, bro, this dude just like sweating and then dripped all up over me. Like, ugh. I let him stay in my apartment while I was at work because, again, he didn't have means of transportation. I knew that I was just going to have to just take him home whenever I got back, and it wouldn't be enough time to drop him off. And then on top of that, I didn't want to leave you my house key and then someone come pick you up and you have my house key, because then I'm going to have to meet you to get my house. It was just too much. So I was just like, look, get your stuff together, you know, get your mind right, blah, blah. By the time I get home, I already made up in my mind, like, you got to go. Like, you got to go. You're not gonna transition your way into my house because your living situation or whatever the fuck you had going on, you know, it had nothing to do with me. Now, all the while that I was at work, because at that time I was working at Dillard's, and I was just telling my friend, I was like, I was calling her on the phone. I was like, girl, I know for a fact this man did not pee in my bed. Like, my mind just went there because we were just talking about how my shorts was wet, how he slid out the bed, he got dressed, he made up the bed, laid flat out in the middle of it. And I'm like, I just really could not tell if he peed in my bed or not. And that's only because I just was in a rush to get to work. I was just aggravated at the night before. It was so much going on. But I was like, when I get home, I will find out. I will get these bed sheets, I will smell them, and I will know because I will see a dried ass pee spot, like, you know, in my bed. So I finished my shift and I rushed home. Like, I rushed home, y'all. I could not wait to bust him for this unnecessary, nasty ass shit. So when I get home, guys, Richard is like sitting on my couch, looking like you're looking. And I just like walked past him and I was like, I'm going straight to these bed sheets and smelling them. Like, I've got to know. Y'all, when I grabbed the bed sheets and just grabbed them and smelling them, they smelled like straight washing detergent, which told me that you peed in my bed. Because why else did you need to wash my sheets? You know what I'm saying? Like, why else did you need to wash my sheets? And I still wasn't content on like, okay, maybe he did or didn't do it. So I tried to grab like the shorts I was wearing that morning and they smelled like piss. So that confirmed to me that you peed in my bed. Like, rewinding my mind back, I was like, maybe he was rolling me out of the bed, trying to push me out of the piss spot before I could find out. But still found out, so nice try. And of course, you guys, I lost my shit. Like, I just was like, bro, like at this point, you know, I'm not feeling this shit. I don't want you to be here. Do you mind getting your stuff and getting out? I did eventually, I was nice enough to take him, you know, to his location, wherever he needed to stay, like to stay with his people. But it got to the point where I just couldn't take it anymore. And I shouldn't have had to deal with that in the first place, especially with the apartment situation. I never confronted him about that. So again, if he watches this video, and if you are watching this video, Richard, again, that's not his real name. At that time, I didn't know how to confront you about it because I don't know, like I know the night before, you know, you were drinking and stuff, but you could have just said, hey, I got a little out of hand and, you know, I'm gonna have to wash your sheets. And I would have been like, okay, cool, but maybe you were embarrassed. Looking at it now, I can laugh at it, which is why we're making this video. But at that time, I was just highly irritated and I did not like how shit played out with you and that shit, because we never really got a chance to talk about that either. But, you know, I've let bygones be bygones. Like, I've let it go. All right, guys. Here's the final look. Let me know if you're vibing with this look, like if you like it. I don't know if you guys can see the details of my eyes, but here's the final look. I mean, that was my story time. I mean, if you've ever had that happen to you, comment below. If you think maybe he didn't pee, maybe it was sweat, comment below. And again, I really appreciate you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I'm trying to get better. I'm really trying to get better at posting a little bit more often. It's a work in progress when you have a life and when you have jobs. Don't forget again to click that button right now, right while we're speaking. Just tap it. You might not ever come back to my channel ever again in life. If you feel like my content is not your style or not for you, give me some suggestions, comment below. And as always, thank you guys for watching this cool ass, smooth ass little video. And don't let a guy pee in your bed. And don't be coming for your ex-boyfriend's friends. That ain't cute. And you gotta keep it cute, sis. Period. Thank you.